Spirit works to align you with people who can help you on your path. For some of you, I get that's what is happening now. And that could be why you're a little resistant to it, because you don't really understand it yet. Definitely speak to this King of Wands for guidance. They could be your mentor. It's possible you're already doing that. And if you need more nurturance and like solid advice, go to this Queen of Pentacles figure. And if you want to speak to somebody who's already been through it and who's comfortable in life, speak to this Empress figure. If you want the truth and the cold hard facts, talk to this King of Swords. You'll know who these people are. When I said them, I'm sure certain people popped in your mind. And again, you don't have to be a part of a special group. This could just be different people in your life that can help you on your journey, okay? I hope that helps you. I wish you all the best. If you need further spiritual guidance, that is something I do with my readings. And I'd be happy to help you. If you want to book with me, go to the description box, email me, or you can sign up for one of the live slots on my calendar, all right? If not, no worries, no big deal. I do wish you the best, all right? Now, one last person here, and I kind of feel like this King of Swords and Prince of Swords are the same person. Not only because they're two apart in the court cards, but I feel like it's almost like you've kind of dropped your level down and been more discreet in order to report to this Empress. But in the group, you represent more the King of Swords. You could be the one that's a little distant, not distant, but detached, a little more intellectual. You're very strategic. That could be why you're watching, waiting, and reporting back to this Empress. It's possible that you and this Empress have been friends for a long time. Like if this is a friendship group or a family dynamic, it could be siblings. It's possible that if this is a sibling relationship, that this Empress makes you feel smaller than you are. That's for a select few with a side message, definitely not everyone. So I'm not really sure what role. I feel like maybe you help with the strategy with the King of Wands. It's kind of like, or I'm getting, for those of you that were in a military group, troop, band, that you helped strategize and make the plans. You also were kind of the liaison. If this is work, you're kind of the go-between. You're the mediator. You're the one that follows things through with the communication. You actually, your strengths are needed at this time. I'm sensing for this group, especially during the retrograde, if you're catching this in real time, or if it's not real time again, if you've sensed some communication issues. Oh wow, the Emperor in reverse just flipped out. It was upright, but it came out upside down. Let me get another card on that. The High Priestess. This is a very side message. And again, if it's not for you, don't take it. Don't get wrapped up in it if you don't know about it. And if you sense that it could be a possibility, then now is the time to think on it and pay attention and be like this Prince of Swords over here and study this person in this group. This is for a select few. This is not for everybody. And for the King of Swords that this represents, again, know that you're being seen, you're being judged by the divine. I am picking up here, possibly it's this Empress that can see. Perhaps she's seeing everything from a spiritual perspective. Perhaps she is a psychic medium herself, and it doesn't have to be a woman, but just reading the cards, Empress, High Priestess, sees someone here is not being transparent. Whoever this King of Swords represents, and it could also be not being transparent with her. Perhaps this person who downgrades himself to the Prince of Swords to speak to this Empress, perhaps they're being a little spiteful and giving misinformation. But the thing is this Empress sees all because she's also the High Priestess. What do you know? And I say this because the Emperor in reverse is a very unhealed person. It's the higher octave of the King of Wands, so I feel like for this side group, whoever this King of Swords represents, they want to dominate the King of Wands. They want to be the leader of the group. Perhaps they've put, with this intellectual work, they've done a lot to make sure the group was successful, and they've spoken great things. Maybe they don't feel appreciated, but they're not acting from their authority now. Yeah, there's healing that's needed here with the Star. It's also their personal wish fulfillment to lead this group and possibly overtake, what's that word? Not a monopoly, is it? Wow, I'm totally blanking on the word. You know, when like the captain gets overturned in a on a ship, typically. A mutiny. For some of you should know that this person is planning a mutiny. They could be planting seeds of their own to these other people. That could also be causing doubt and problems with this Queen of Pentacles. That could be why they're confused. So somebody here for this special message to the side, not for everybody. This person is trying to orchestrate your downfall and take your place. This isn't predictive, okay? Timelines can be changed anytime. But I just pulled the Justice card on top of the Star. That's like double confirmation that justice needs to be served here. Or they're going to receive their karmic justice for anything they've done, okay? And again, I was talking about clarity, about communication, about breaking illusions earlier. And also allowing people to talk about how they want to lead, how they want to strategize. Not only can you learn things by being receptive and sitting back, people will show you who they are, right? So the power of observation is very important for all these people involved. And if you are this Queen of Pentacles, perhaps you've picked up on this this King of Swords or Prince of Swords energy, possibly trying to sabotage the group. And maybe that's why you're not interested and you're not sure, but you do feel dedicated. So for some of you, it's not about not being dedicated, not being interested. It's more like, do I want to work with this person? Do I want to have to deal with the intellectual manipulation? Because there's the illusion card over here next to Temperance. And the Empress is below that. It seems like the Empress may know more. I feel like even though the Empress is kind of a silent party in this group, that y'all should consult her. Because she knows more than you think. And that could be negative, positive, or neutral, okay? I think the Empress is the only one we haven't read on, but she kind of just volunteered her own information there. This is somebody who's highly psychic, grounded, blessed, and in a position of some kind of authority. So, if you are the Empress here, would you like to share with the class perhaps what you might know that is for the highest and greatest good for everyone in this group to know? The Hanged Man. That's double Piscean energy with the High Priestess and the Hanged Man. We also have the Moon, so Neptunian, and also she's underneath here, the Seven of Cups, which is another Neptunian Pisces card. Break through the illusions. Also, it's time for another perspective. Meditate, find clarity through going to your guides if you do have a spiritual practice, or just perhaps thinking on things, journaling, being mindful can help you resolve and see things clearly. Especially during a retrograde, this is why it's great to step back and kind of look at how all the parts are moving together, right? And Pisces is the opposite of Virgo, okay? And Virgo we were talking about earlier because it also is ruled by Mercury, but it's the earth, diligent, steadfast, hard worker bee. The one who's of service. Well, so is Pisces. It's polar opposite, but Pisces is beyond the physical, is completely immersed in the spiritual, the highly psychic, spiritual, oracle, seer, etc. They see all. from an outside perspective. And Virgo, which is usually ruled by the Hermit, sees everything in fine detail. They go inward, they do the deep studies, they are diligent, it's day in, day out kind of business, right? And it's interesting that this energy is coming up at the end of the reading because we are in the season of a Pisces North Node where the collective is going forward together, and the collective is every conscious being, right? And the South Node is the opposite, which is in Virgo. That's what we're leaving behind. That's what we're comfortable. So this is about getting higher perspectives across the board, especially if this is a spiritual group or a business group or a personal family situation. This is about doing some healing. So for some of you, this is about like making sure that everybody is seeing the full picture, zooming out, not getting stuck in the details, which if this King of Swords, that isn't for everybody, but if that resonated as far as the Saboteur, we'll call them, know that they are very insecure and they have a tendency to be very toxic. So like maybe paying too closely to the details and what they're telling you is something you need to disregard. Maybe take a tool from their belt and be a little more detached, you know? As they say, take it with a grain of salt, right? Is there any other advice we can give? Because it doesn't seem like this Empress really wants to be read on, which is typical. If they are in that position of gifts, of spiritual gifts, they're probably highly protected and not able to access as much. That can be represented by the High Priestess as well. Queen of Swords, yeah. Okay, well, she understands this King of Swords because she at one point was the Queen of Swords. She's been through something here. She's had to speak her truth. She's had to put up her sword. She knows nonsense. So if this King of Swords thinks that they are feeding her incorrect information and she's falling for it, they are mistaken. Because the Queen of Swords is the coldest bitch in the fucking tarot. Excuse my French, but I'm sensing some hard energy all of a sudden. Someone here who represents this Empress is pissed. They're patient, they're receptive, they're watching, they're waiting, but they are not holding their breath. And perhaps that's why they haven't wanted to be invested with the group, because they are a supporter of this King of Wands over here. Or they are just a silent, separate party that can already see what's happening, and they're like, yeah, no, I'm cool just being a silent partner, as long as the group is still working together well. And she sees all, so she's not worried. She knows when she needs to cut out or cut things out with the Queen of Swords here. This is also telling the rest of the group to remember where other people's weaknesses and strengths are. To bring more nurturing and love and receptivity into that and not use it as a tactic or a tool. So perhaps this King of Swords over here needs to soften a little, work on healing some insecurities of lack, perhaps by them having a more emotional conversation. If they can get to a vulnerable place, they can actually be more successful and find a way to lead in their own way alongside this King of Wands, because I think they're forgetting that the King of Wands and King of Swords are equally matched. They're just successful in different ways. And if they can change their mindset, again with the Hangman over here, a different perspective, they can actually drop this stuff that they've been creating and focus on investing in themselves and going off of their strengths instead of trying to attack other people's weaknesses and confuse them to manipulate and control them so they can get on top. Now, some people like that can't change. Some people like that need therapy. That's not medical advice. It's just the truth. It's good to talk about things and work through them. And if there is someone like this in your group, you need to consider being like this Queen of Swords and cutting them out and finding somebody else who can do that part. And it's possible that this could prolong or delay your project or group or event or whatever this is, but it's also possible that you'll be more successful and have a more solid foundation by doing so. And we do have the Four of Wands down here. So there is already a solid foundation, but that's just for some of you. For others of you, again, this King of Swords is not toxic. It was just that one side message. It felt like somebody really needed to hear that. So let's pull back from that a little. In fact, I'm going to ding my bell to clear and cleanse. For those of you that are not toxic AF, if you'll take a deep breath. For those of you that are this intelligent King of Swords, go back to the sibling analogy who might be reporting the Empress. It's possible you are like a Yumber. That was weird. Umber? Umber. Is that a word? I don't think so. I know Umber is, but that's different. That's mythology. Anyways, number. Spirit's trying to channel something there. Interesting. It's just possible you're intimidated by the shadow of your sibling or this coworker who seems to have been more successful than you, or this friend who's at a higher status than you. But other than that, you've got a very dominant role here in the group. You do have a lot to offer. Again, you're kind of the strategizer. You're the one that can stay detached from the drama. That's the positive side of the King of Swords, is you can cut out drama. You can get people together and communicate. It's possible that you have to mediate this group to kind of work out the kinks in order to launch, whatever this is, okay? Your advice is the Fool. Embrace new adventures. Embrace a new learning attitude. Take a trust fall. You know, whatever it is that you're concerned about in this group, or maybe some of your ideas that you've had, Spirit's telling you to just trust it and go with it. And to be more playful, to be more childlike. You know, the Fool in the tarot can represent both Aquarius and Aries. It depends on the reader. It's one of those cards that has dual signage attached to it. But, you know, it brings us back over here to the Star. There's like this deep healing. You have some very keen, higher intellectual concepts. I'm sensing for some of you, you could be an engineer, possibly a scientist. Perhaps you're building a patent. I'm not sure, but I just picked up that could be a very select, specific few. And maybe it's something that nobody else has ever tried before. It makes you kind of a visionary. Again, going over here to the Seven of Cups, that could apply to you. And you're trying to figure out all the different components. I just heard chemist. In order to create this. And then I pull the Hierophant. Wow, for some of you, you are the higher authority figure, not this King of Wands. And you are leading something huge here for the collective. You have a higher purpose here for some of you who represent this King of Swords. You could have a brilliant mind. And for some of you, you are highly intellectual and spiritual, and you know how to use your spiritual gifts to strategize and create an amazing reality, and that's highly beneficial to the entire group. Or it's perhaps you're kind of the boss and you're teaching this team how to work together on this. That's very interesting. Wow, you kind of kept quiet during this reading. Of course you would, because that's intelligent. I was talking about observance. Ooh, Ten of Swords though. There's some kind of betrayal here that you're overcoming. What is this betrayal about? The Magician. Wow. We were talking about Gemini energies and how with the Gemini Moon it's possible we'll get more Gemini cards, and King of Swords can also represent Gemini. I don't typically read sign specific in a collective reading. It's more talking about the energy, and we've already talked enough about Mercury and Gemini throughout this long form read. So this betrayal, it's either it's possible, I'm picking up from the last reading, there was a very side channeled message about intellectual property, copyright issues, possibly, patents, visionaries. You may want to check that last reading out because I feel like it's connected to your energy. So that could have been the betrayal. It's possible you caught that reading or you need to watch it. It literally was in a cluster of the readings before this one. So, yeah. It's possible I'm sensing that you went through this with a different group and this is you starting fresh with a new team. And it could kind of make it difficult for you to be a part of this new beginning. Like you want to, you've taken a step, but you've had people work against you before. Even with having everything at your disposal, somehow you were betrayed in the past and you're kind of carrying this into this new beginning. So Spirit's telling you to be careful and also trust Spirit. If you are spiritual and you're getting downloads and whatnot, trust the guidance they're giving you because they're helping you manifest your best reality, which is not the same as what you went through. Yeah, Seven of Swords. Walk away from that which no longer serves you. And for some of you, if it happened in this group, if this group betrayed you, and you are actually the Emperor in reverse here, and that's your justification in your mind for creating sabotage with this group, then people are going to walk away from you, okay? Oftentimes the ghoster becomes the ghosted, and the one that creates any harm done in the dark will come to the light, period. It's the natural balance, and we have Temperance up here. So for anybody who's being unhealed and trying to get vengeance on this group, it's not going to work. You're just going to end up betraying yourself because you have something really profound here. For those of you that are not that stereotype of a King of Swords, you are you're coming through some things. You're learning how to believe in yourself again because whatever you went through really hit your confidence. For that really sucks, and I'm sorry that you went through that. That betrayal is not easy. Prince of Cups just came out, but sideways. You want to give your cup of love to something. This could be a person or not, but I feel like it's this project. You don't know how much you want to invest into it. And we did get the Seven of Pentacles earlier, so you're like, you know, you have a lot to offer, or you're in the lead here. Maybe you're keeping yourself a little distant from the rest of the group. Again, I did pick up on some very aloof energies. So what advice can we give the one that's healing from betrayal and not causing more betrayal? Because, you know, we don't want to be those hurt people who hurt other people, right? Because then we're not any better than what we went through, whether it seems justified or not. The divine will execute justice, okay? If you trust in the divine, you work with the divine, then you know they will. It doesn't matter what your creator faith is. It's divine universal law. The law of equivalent exchange, which is the true law of karma, in my opinion. Yeah, Five of Wands. What is it that you want to fight for? Something you love or something that hurt you in the past? That's what Spirit wants to know, whether you're spiritual or not. Again, this is a spiritual reading for soul guidance, so take it how it resonates for you. The Sun. What makes you truly happy? I mean, for some of you, if you are the leader in this group, not the King of Wands, but you are the King of Swords, it's time to shine your light. We also had the Star here, which is also an air archetype energy in the tarot. So, like, how do you want to show up? Do you want to fight everybody, or do you want to focus everything in your dreams and being successful in that way? Because I guarantee if you focus on what you love and you transmute pain into creativity, you will be highly successful if you can keep yourself locked into the vision and work on opening your heart, healing your heart. Joy will help you transmute the betrayal. That is a healthy way, and again, I'm not giving medical advice, so when I say healthy, I mean it is a way that you can really work through these things. Okay? Perhaps it's through doing something that used to make you happy as a child. Because the Sun card often represents the child and happiness. That's also like, it's a promise of really great things to come, and I believe we had the Wheel of Fortune. So I hope that helps. I believe we covered every single group here. This was a very interesting read. It seems like my readings have kind of veered from the mystical down to the mundane more in the last few readings. And that's kind of interesting. My tagline for my shop is from the mundane to the mystical.